For the second time in less than 30 days, we are talking about a tropical storm passing through South Jersey, and this time it is Isaias. We have our tropical storm warning in effect until further notice, and look how far inland this tropical storm warning extends into Philadelphia and even suburbs to the north and west, and all of New Jersey is now in a tropical storm warning. That does not happen that often, and it shows the scope of the storm. We have a flash flood watch in effect from 10 p.m. tonight until midnight on Tuesday night. That being said, I think the heaviest rain will stay to our west. We have a coastal flood advisory now in effect from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, and we have a high surf advisory and a rip current statement for much of Tuesday. But in other words, it will be a nasty day and a downright dangerous day to be in the water on Tuesday. Here is our Isaias update. It is now a hurricane and will make landfall as a hurricane somewhere along the South or North Carolina border. From there, it will be moving up and just inland of the East Coast here. It will be going through the Chesapeake Bay, over to Delmarva, into the Delaware Bay, and making landfall somewhere likely in Cumberland or even Salem counties as we go into our Tuesday afternoon, just around 2 o'clock or so. Let's take a look at our evening. We have temperatures sliding through the 80s and into the 70s. We had a few storms earlier, even some gusty winds in parts of Cumberland, as well as western Atlantic counties. We'll continue to see those into the evening and overnight, but for the most part, we're dry. It's a balmy night with lows in the low to mid 70s. Let's look at our mainland threats. These have not changed throughout the day today. Stream and street flooding look to be of the highest risk. That being said, it depends on where you are in the mainland, because if you are along that Parkway corridor, so Seaville, Egg Harbor Township, or Manahawkin, this is probably a moderate threat for you just because of the lower rainfall totals expected there, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's look at our shore threats. The rip current risk remains our biggest threat, but as far as what's happening on land, it will be the winds. This will be a wind storm. Not often during tropical cyclones, at least here in New Jersey, we're talking about the winds as the main threat. But here we are, and in terms of the rain, a low threat, and that's because, again, our rainfall totals have gone down. So here's our timeline. We have our minor flood stage during the morning high tide. It should only be in localized spots, though. Heaviest rain starts at 9 a.m. It will take a couple of hours for those strongest winds to catch up, and then we have another round of strong winds coming on the backside as winds flip to the south and west. Our more substantial high tide will be during the evening hours, and that will be widespread minor flood stage nearing moderate flood stage. As of 8 a.m., we'll be mostly dry here in the area. Winds will kick up from the south and east. Then we get heavy rain coming for the midday hours, but look at the strongest rain to our north and west, and that will continue as this thing makes landfall just over Cumberland County. That's what this model is showing, and I kind of like that. We will be in low tide at 2 p.m., and that is good news for us because we will counterbalance the effects of the storm surge. Then we're just talking about scattered rain bands for parts of the afternoon, and by 8 o'clock, I'll tell you what, we couldn't even see a sunset here in South Jersey. Our rainfall totals have fallen for along the shore and along the Parkway corridor, just 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches. That will still bring areas of rainfall flooding, but it will not be as significant as what's happening in this 3 to 6 area. And for those of you in Cumberland, Hamilton, Buna, Estelle Manor, we're talking about 1.5 to 3 inches. Yes, a greater threat for roadway flooding and even stream and creek flooding. Winds will be relatively light out of the south and east as we start our day on Tuesday, but look what happens at noon. 37 miles an hour sustained in Atlantic City. 51 in Cape May from the south and east. I think that's overdone, and really a lot of these shore towns are probably overdone, but I think 40 to 50 miles an hour for a small period of time, maybe 2 to 3 hours, absolutely. Wind gusts up to 75 miles an hour, absolutely. Along the shore, 25 to 35 mile an hour sustained winds from the south and east. And then as we go into our evening, southwest winds, we see them diminishing now, under 20 miles an hour for the most part here in South Jersey. Again, that storm surge will be 1 to 2 feet. I don't think we get to 3. Even if we do, we're going to be talking about low tide during that period of time, so we will be counterbalancing the effects. And then lastly, we have to talk about the severe weather risk. We are in a level 2 of 5 risk for severe weather. Weak tornadoes are the main threat with this, and anytime you have a tropical system, it can spawn off weak tornadoes. Let's take a look at our mainland 7-day forecast, because after Tuesday, despite these couple of thunderstorms, we're actually pretty good. Seasonable temperatures, dew points are in the upper 60s, so not super sticky, and mostly dry days. Just a low, isolated risk of a thunderstorm. Don't cancel your beach plans. Don't cancel your outdoor work. For the most part, we will be fine, and we'll continue that into Sunday and Monday. We will have an early morning video for you by 7 a.m. and we'll have live videos at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and even later if needed as we cover Isaias. You can follow me on social media for the latest or go to our website at theprinceofac.com/weather.